For wildlife cameramen, a day's work is just as unpredictable. Close encounters and rare sightings are part of the job. But even so, things can sometimes get a little too close for comfort. Armies of predators ambush the massive shoals of sardines that surge up the wild coast along the South African shoreline every year. Sharks and dolphins whip the shoals into frenzied bait balls, driving them to the water's surface where they become trapped and provide easy pickings for the predators of the sea. Despite the incredible filming opportunities created by this seething mass, entering into this war zone could be hazardous to your health.
You've got this bait ball, you've got predators coming from the top and the bottom.
There's a lot of fast movement and fast activity going on.
And these sardines can come right into you, almost envelop you.
The bait ball's moving up and down, and you pretty much get almost into the bait ball.
Well, it's got a little bit of tunnel vision, especially when you're filming. You've got a monitor in front of you, and you're not looking around. You're focusing just on the bait ball and all the exciting predators and the things that are going on. Once you're enveloped in a bait ball, you don't know where you are and you don't know what's going to hit you.
Early one winter, Charles was filming the Sardine Run off the south coast of Natal, watching and waiting for a piece of the action.
All of a sudden, this huge shape just came past me. I just didn't know what it was.
A Brydes whale, lunging for the shoals at the surface, barely missed Charles on its way up. Weighing up to 20 tons and swimming at a speed of up to 25 kilometers per hour, physical impact with Charles at that moment could have been fatal.
It was so close, I could feel the wash as it went past me. So potentially it was very dangerous.
Further down the coast in the waters of Port Elizabeth, Rainer Schimpf, expert diver and filmmaker, experienced a similar but even more frightening encounter.
Out of a sudden, I realized to my right a big, massive thing going through the bait ball. And it all happened like in slow motion.
Rainer couldn't believe what he was seeing.
After it went past, I thought, well, that thing is quite long, but there's still something to come. So I thought of the tail, and I basically coupled together. So that tail went right under me in slow motion, and once that whale disappeared in the distance, all the penguins and sharks came back and kept on feeding. And we realized that with all that action and the feeding frenzy going on, that basically we had to move away a bit because they were coming back, and we needed to give them some space so they can feed on the sardines.
It was really only when I got in the boat that the excitement sunk in and I realized how lucky I was to get that shot. If I'd planned it, I couldn't have got it better. It was absolutely perfect.
Wildlife cameraman Peter Lamberti is drawn out to sea off the shores of the Eastern Cape every year to capture the spectacular action as the Sardine Run races along the coastline. This year, he took along his new assistant, James Boone.
I was on one of my first underwater shoots, and we were actually shooting topside at the time.
We were following a pod of common dolphin. It was quite a big pod, and they had been chasing up stuff here and there, but we had been following them for a couple of hours and we hadn't really got anything. Then all of a sudden, we saw that they'd concentrated a ball of sardines, and the birds had started to dive on the spot in the ocean, and the dolphins were jumping through it, so I started to film it to see if we could get any action.
It was just me and Peter at the rear of the boat. The other three were in the front.
And the next minute, the boat got hit underneath, hit so hard.
And the whole boat sort of swung sideways. Peter just fell on top of me.
I was just lucky that James, my assistant, was steadying me by my collar, and I didn't actually fall into the water and possibly onto the whale.
Everybody got a fright. I mean, there was lots of shouting, a bit of swearing.
In the ocean, you don't expect these kind of knocks. When this big animal hits the boat underneath with force like that, you don't know what it is.
It was quite a nerve-wracking thing at the time. Sitting there thinking, you know, if the boat actually tipped over, we were 3 miles offshore, it could have been a dangerous situation.
Luckily for me, it came right through the middle of where I was holding the camera. So it was quite a lucky shot, in fact.
I'd never seen a Brydes whale before underwater because before, every time I'd approached them, they've always swum off because they're actually quite skittish.
We've tried to film these whales in the past and they avoid us. You know, it's extremely difficult to get close enough to get any shots of them.
So it was not only exciting, but it was also extremely lucky.
This was just a stroke of luck that Peter was rolling in the right direction at the right time when the Brydes whale hit the boat and breached. It still managed to breach in front of the lens.
So when you do get a shot, it's normally a luck shot. And it's normally like a one-shot wonder because they don't hang around.
It was absolutely one of the most amazing things I've ever filmed.